This is BBC 5 Live, available on the BBC iPlayer radio app. 5 Live Breakfast.
Good morning, it's 7:41. Well, we bring you some sad news this morning. Paul Mysak, a friend of ours here at 5 Live Breakfast and a 5 Live listener who had terminal cancer, has died. We told you a couple of days ago that he was in his final days, and his wife Bridget got in touch with us yesterday to say that he had sadly died. And his story has become very familiar to many of you listening to the programme regularly. He called into 5 Live back in March after the launch of You, Me and the Big C, of course, which was put together by our friend Rachel Bland and Deborah and Lauren as well. And at that time, he shared his story with us about how he was facing the last months of his life, and brought so much laughter whenever he spoke to us here on 5 Live Breakfast. He had a kind of default funny bone mechanism, which meant he couldn't really talk without kind of joking and laughing his way through it, and just said, look, that's just me, and that's kind of the way I deal with it. And
I listened to it. I mean, I never talked to Paul on the radio, but listening to him talking to you and Nikki, there'd always be a point where, you know, he you say there was always some kind of quite cringy joke at some
terrible
stage.
gags,
but
which were brilliant. He delivered them so well, and we loved him. We absolutely fell in love with him, and he and his wife Bridget kept us in touch with their story over the last few weeks. So we pay tribute to him this morning. Here he is in his own words, with a wicked sense of humour and a deep love for his wife Bridget shining through. Let's bring in Paul from Glasgow, who's called us. Hiya, Paul.
I was diagnosed 2 years ago with prostate cancer. It mutated into lung cancer. There is no cure for me. I've just gone down. I've had chemotherapy that made me feel so bad I wanted to die. One of the things that got me, one of my friends, when I was having the chemotherapy, I was just so ill. And he said to me, come on, you've got to be positive. And I have to say...
There's nothing more annoying, is there, when you're feeling really rough?
You're right, and it worked. It got me walking again because I had my hands round his throat. Because the thing is that when people say it's all right being positive when the sun's shining.
I've been afraid that I might. He's going to be keeping a diary for us until he dies, until he passes away. Here is his first account.
I have terminal cancer. Telling your friends you have cancer identifies the optimist from the pessimist. I now have a friend called The Undertaker. All he ever asks me is, how long have you got? I meet people on a daily basis who say, Paul, why are you so upbeat when you're dying? I have news for everyone. Whether you follow a religion or not, you're going to die. As I reflect on my own mortality, I realise it's easy to make light of it, but upsetting, think of it happening to someone you love. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Of course, and I've always believed that tears are not a bad thing.
Of course they're not.
Tears, people have this idea of, oh, you shouldn't cry. I have to say, once I've cried, it's like a regeneration. You know, you can put the cheery face on, but it's hard. It's hard. It's the impact it has on those who you love.
You will hear in the next clip Dr. Richard Jones offering his thoughts to Paul about what would happen if he were to decide on further chemotherapy treatment.
As you've been thinking long and hard about, would another course of chemotherapy be something you'd want to go ahead with?
And after his appointment, Paul's wife Bridget talks to him here about the difficult decision he came to.
You've swung wildly between the two for the last few days, even just before we went in. 2 minutes apart, you said definitely yes and definitely no.
This is so bad. It's so bad. It strips away at the very being of you.
If I should become a stranger, you know that it...
What I would say, Chris, is it takes you to a new level of love. It's like peeling back an onion where everyone ends up in tears, right? But it's like peeling back an onion and you're moving to a deeper level of your relationship. But the level of love that we feel now is just second to none. And we've only been married 2 years, Chris.
Yes.
And it's just been, you know, it's so strong, the bond between Bridget and I
don't know what's going to happen in the future, but this is in a way the worst of times, but it's also in a way the best of times. It's like a diamond in my life, this sharply edged and polished, shiny time.
Well, they've withered now, they've gone.
Please don't think I'm being flippant about cancer. This is my approach, and it hasn't let me down yet. Who knows how long I have left, but I'm not dead yet. Why should I put up the white flag? When it comes to dying, it'll be the last thing I do.
Let me tell you that I love you, but I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home.
Well, thank you so much for all of you who've contacted us this morning and sent your good wishes to Bridget as well. He is one of those people who you meet people in life like this who you encounter. It may only be for a few minutes here or there, but they can have a profound impact on you. Alan says, I come to feel that I know Paul for his love of life and his ability to laugh in the face of cancer. It's an inspiration. I lost my kids and my wife to cancer. His cheerful and thoughtful interviews were simply amazing. Another here in tears regarding Paul listening to the clips. His humour and humanity will shine on. Christopher says, it brought a smile to my face hearing him on the radio the other morning. Very sad to hear he's passed away. He met it head on and with some wit as well. What an incredibly brave man, says another. He was uplifting to me and I'm sure to many others. A really brave bloke, says this one. His line about being more toxic than Trump made me laugh so much. Sorry he's gone, and best wishes to his wife. And many, many other messages.
Now, it is time to talk about Paul Mysak. He has died. He had cancer, of course. He called into 5 Live in March after the launch of You, Me and the Big C to share his story. Did a wonderful hour on your call as well with us, which I will never forget. Such humour, such a funny man, such a nice man. And he kept a diary for us throughout everything. His farewell celebration, I want one of those, will take place later today. Paul regularly spoke with great affection about the support from his wife, Bridget. And excuse us for just being a little bit late for the news. We wanted to play you this, a reminder of some of the lovely things he said about her, with a personal message from Bridget at the end.
Real love is when you have to get, your wife has to dress you in the morning, help you when you've been to the toilet. And everybody before they get a diagnosis like this is very independent. They get on about and go and do their own thing. I found, Bridget has to do all that for me. But the level of love that we feel now is just second to none. To have Bridget in my corner, I am so thankful for that, because if I didn't have her in my corner, it would be a different ball game altogether.
Hello, this is Bridget, Paul's wife. My lovely Paul died very peacefully at home on Wednesday, October the 3rd at 4 p.m. with me at his side. Paul really wanted to record a final piece for 5 Live to complete the story, to put a bow on it, as he would have said, but sadly this was not possible. This is very hard for me, but I feel the need to complete this for Paul. We've been so very well supported throughout Paul's cancer journey, and I would like to thank the following: our many friends and family, staff at the Beatson, doctors and nurses at Forth Valley Hospital, North Lanarkshire Home Care and district nurses, staff at Strathcarron Hospice, our local GPs from Kenilworth, Cumbernauld, Marie Curie nurses, and Michael Keane and Kelly Young. Also, no one mentions them, but I have a personal and special thanks to Ross and the team at the Chemist in Kindorot. They are just the best. Pre-order, deliver, explain things, have kept me right, and even check that I'm eating. This is a complete tragedy. The man I fell in love with when we first met 3 years and 1 month ago is dead, and I am devastated. Paul was a total star. He will be missed every day by his friends and family and by me so very much. But he is now out of his physical body, in his Buddhist nirvana. Somewhere, he is the great shining star in the firmament that he was in life. So here it is, the end of the story. I hope I have put a bow on it.
Isn't that beautiful? Bridget talking about her beloved Paul, a much-loved man.